everybody. I've not done a live stream in a while. I've actually not put out a video in well over a week now. And the last video that I released will probably have made clear why that has been. I have been a busy, busy boy. But that is not why we're doing this today. So, about, I want to say 6 weeks ago, maybe longer than that, I promised my patrons that I would do a video ranking Scottish gins. And I wasn't able to make good on that promise that month, and I've been struggling to make good on it this month. And the issue with these ranking videos is they're actually quite technically difficult to set up, in that they're a bit more involved. You have to set up a camera and then a separate microphone, and that was kind of delaying the whole thing. So I thought, you know what, I'll just do it as a live, because that way it's all built in and it's all done. Now then, I'm not expecting anyone to watch this live, because I've not announced it. I've not done anything with it, although apparently we do actually have somebody joining us tonight, so hello. This is more a means to an end to actually make good on that promise. Very late, but make good on that promise. And everyone's been very understanding that I have been insanely busy. So again, apologies for that, but this is me trying to make good on that. As you can see from the state of me, well, the state of everything behind me as well, it has been difficult to keep up with other things in my life, like housework and remembering to eat and stuff like that. So it's been an interesting time. So today we are going to do a gin ranking. I don't know how long this is going to go on for, possibly too long. So if this gets boring, or was this ever interesting, who knows? We shall see. So this is going to be going on again on not Tier Master, what's it called? Tier Rank or Ranky Tier or Tier Maker. That's the one. So I'll be flashing up my tab, and then you guys can like watch me rank it in real time. I have put together an eclectic list of Scottish gins. I was initially just going to do sort of like your bog standard London Dry style, or like, you know, your core expression kind of gins. Quickly realized that there is a surprising number of them that I have not tried. So we're not going to do that. That's not what is going to happen. So instead, I've picked a bit more of an interesting amount, just to kind of make it a little more diverse and interesting. When are you ranking Scouse gins? Tell you what, I need to remember how this works. There it is. Good evening. Actually, Liverpool gin, that's a point. Liverpool gin is a thing. Liverpool gin is nice. I'm getting off track already. We're not here to talk about Liverpool gin. Fuck. But maybe at some point. Maybe I'll do like a Northern gin section. That'll be fun, wouldn't it? Yeah. I suppose this is Northern gins in a respect, just more north than the north. British geography is very strange. It's no wonder people get confused. Right, cool. So, if you're watching this on the replay, thank you very much. You will have a better idea of how long this is going to be than I will. If I had a penny for every time I had to say that. Yeah, so fuck it, let's get started. Why not? I don't really know where I was going with that particular train of thought. Liverpool gin is one of many. Ooh, now you intrigue me. Every fucker and their mum has a gin at the minute, which is, again, what made making this list so difficult. Because when you come to just like Scottish gins, there's a lot. There's a lot of gin right there. So again, an eclectic mix. Some of them I've not tried. You'll probably be quite surprised with the ones that I've not tried. And that's not a clickbaity. Stick around to the end, because the last one might surprise you. Because do as you will. There's a fucking massive football game on today as well, so I'm not expecting great audience numbers. You know what I mean? I wasn't lucky to get today off. I had my jab today, and I was like, I'm taking that day off just in case I grow a second head or something. Well, third head. But yeah, cool. So let's get started. Let's actually do this. Oh, another comment. Hello. Handyman Brewery have their own gin. There is also Aintree gin, Anfield gin, Everton gin, Ormskirk. Okay. Bloody Nora. Wow. Fair enough. Maybe I will have to do a segment on that then. I mean, I'm always open to requests. read into that what you will. It's actually why I'm in this mess at the moment. Should any patrons watch this later or at the time, again, I apologize for this being horrendously late. I am also consciously aware that I have not yet submitted a poll for you guys to pick what I'm doing this month, and I'm also consciously aware that I'm about halfway through. I have an idea of what I'm going to ask, and it is going to be simple, because I would rather deliver something than nothing, because I need to get better at that. If you are interested in supporting the channel, actually, there are some links down below. You can join as a patron, join as a member, or you can also buy a sticker of the little Pokemon cards that I do. I'm uploading new ones all the time, so if you don't see anything that you like, chances are I'll put something up later on. And I'm always open to requests as well, because money. So yeah, let's get on with this. So how does this work again? Share screen, Chrome tab, that one. Oh, not there yet. Share. Okay, cool. So you should now see my screen. Sweet, awesome. Just make sure that this is all aligned. Yeah, that's as good as we're going to get. Right, cool, sweet. Okie dokie. So again, how Tier Maker normally works is it goes S, A, B, C, D, I think F. I've modified this slightly for British audiences, so we've got A star, or A plus to any Americans, A, B, C, D, and not tried, which I think is an important one in this one, because there's going to be some that I've not tried. And the answers may surprise you. I'm not doing that again. I'm not doing that again. I've got a really itchy nose. Sorry. I was cuddling Mo just before this, and I forget how allergic I am to cats. So that's why I'm sniffling in a lot of my videos. I mean, who could say no to that face, you know? Okay, cool. So let's get started, as we should at the beginning. This is Acarus Gin. Lovely orange bottle. It's leaf-based, I believe. I eyed this up for many, many years because it's got this beautiful bottle, and I'd heard nothing but good things. And to this day, I've not tried it. So there's a start. Yeah, it's one that I keep meaning to get around to. I just haven't yet. So if anyone has any intel on how good or how mediocre or how not good it is, do let me know in the comments. I need to keep an eye on comments as well. Liverpool Gin have their own bar as well now, which is quite exciting. But the Cannonball Edinburgh Gin got the better half seal of approval a couple of years ago. Okay, she likes them big and strong. Duly noted. Ooh, yeah, no, that's Baccaroo. Not tried that one either. Cool. So Lomond. Sorry, no. What am I talking about? Ben Lomond. This one's all right. Nice and junipery, a little bit floral, a little bit piney. It was all right. I think I was expecting better things from the bottle, because the bottle looks gorgeous. I love that kind of electric bluey purple kind of color that it's got. As a bottle, it kind of just pops off the shelf, which you kind of need to do in the gin market because it is so heavily saturated. If you don't stand out, you're knackered. Or if you don't just have, you know, a gimmick of some sort or a celebrity endorsement. But yeah, it's so super fucking saturated. It's no wonder people are starting to say the bubble bursting, because I think everyone's just kind of sick of it. There's almost too much choice, you know. There's too much to go off of. It proves the point that, you know, it's cheap and easy to make though. So Bigger, again, a B. It's certainly on the better side of things, you know. Juniper was a bit lacking on this one. I thought it was a bit more citrusy, personally, although I've spoken to a few people and they've said I'm nuts, so maybe I was just having a weird day when I tried it. Again, because of the number of gins that are out there, it is difficult to kind of like come back to one, because whenever you're like, I fancy a gin, you could go back to one, or you could just, you know, go with something else. That's me though, you know. I like trying different things as well. We're aware most people just kind of stick to what they're comfortable with, which is why Tanqueray is having such a good time of things, and Gordon's and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's okay, you know. It does what it says it's going to do. Oh, that's my phone going off. Nothing exciting. Cool. Put that over there for now. Right, cool. So next, Bo Gin. Bo, originally, the original, the bottle did not look good. It looked like somebody had knocked it together in Photoshop in the 90s. It was not a good look for it. They redesigned it based around, you know, their more successful gins, such as like, I mean, I've got one here, the Bow Passion. That's an example there. I got that back from when I did a collab with Will Crawford a couple of years ago. And he was like, yeah, cool, have that. I think it was a freebie that he got as well. They've since changed it to Passion Fruit Gin because they realized nobody knew what the fuck it meant when it said Passion Gin. So I don't know if they've changed the actual, you know, recipe makeup of it or not. But they've changed their original to a more attractive design, first of all. And secondly, I think they've tweaked the recipe a little bit. Now, it suffers from a lot of issues in that it is a standard gin amongst a sea of standard gins. And from personal experience, it is a fucking bastard to sell because nobody gives a shit. Customer apathy is a topic that I want to talk about at some point because it is fantastic, particularly with wines. No one gives a shit about wine. They think they give a shit about wine. They do not give a shit about wine. The cheapest is always the winner. Or like 99 times out of 100, it is the winner. Yeah, the Bow's nothing remarkable. It's fine. Bow aren't really in the business of making gin so much as they are making flavored spirits. The gin's just kind of like a pivot into a market that's, you know, was doing very well, is now starting to decline a little bit. Although, again, how much of that is due to the pandemic, who knows? But yeah, the actual gin itself, like as a standalone, it's fine. That's the nicest thing I'd say about it. It's fine. It's drinkable, you know. Mix it with tonic, it's absolutely fine. But yeah, yeah. Cool. So, Botanist, an Islay gin, 22 botanicals plus 6 corns, if memory serves, 46%. And the most fun to be had trying to find rude words on the bottle. They recently, as part of Fees Isle, released an insultingly small bottle for an insultingly high price that's been cask rested for 10 years. Absolute gimmick, absolute piss take. People went for it. I didn't. I wanted one, and then I saw how much they were taking the piss, and I was like, I'm out. I'm not supporting that. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's been cask rested for 10 years. Why the fuck does it cost that much? Why the fuck are you doing it as a 35 CL? Answer, because they know they can fucking get away with it. Bruichladdich do take the piss. I like Bruichladdich products. They do make good stuff. They do also take the piss. You can do both. They're in that sweet spot where because they do a lot of things right, they can also take the piss. And it's awkward because I do like their stuff. I'm just consciously aware that they do milk it a bit, you know? Botanist, I've not actually tried it. I know, right? Oh, we should quickly check in on comments again. Holyrood, Kintyre, Rassay, and Harris. Did I forget Harris? Please don't tell me I forgot Harris. I mean, Kintyre's definitely here. Where are we? Oh, shit. No. Did I forget Harris? Fuck, I think I forgot Harris. Wait, is that it? No. Oh, shit. I think I forgot Harris. That's awkward. I could have sworn I included Harris. Oopsie poopsie. Wait, what is that? No. I don't even know what that is. Okay, yeah, cool. I've made a boo-boo there and forgotten to put Harris in. That's really awkward. Harris is nice. Harris is great. We'll come back to Harris in a second. Actually, no, fuck it. I don't know what this is, so I'm just going to put it in not tried because I can't fucking read it. Cool. So, is that Harris? It can't be. No, I've no idea what that is. So if I don't recognise it, chances are I've not tried it. This is going well. I feel like this is going very well. Islay Harris. I've tried it a couple of times. People love it. It's in a gorgeous bottle. It is a good gin. It did not blow my tits off, which I think it had been bigged up to me so much that I was like, this is going to blow my fucking mind. And it didn't. It was a perfectly competent, lovely gin. If I remembered to include it in this list, I would probably have put it as a borderline A-B. I'd probably be thinking where to put it. It's very good quality gin. It's very well made. It would probably just get an A, like just. I do not agree that it's exceptional. Sorry. Wait, is that the Harris? Oh, there it is. Silly me. That's the Harris, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. Oh, couldn't see the wood for the trees. Right. As promised, there it is. That's in the A, but just barely. Beautiful bottle. Don't get me wrong, the bottle is fucking gorgeous. We'll be talking again about beautiful bottles a little bit later on, I'm sure. Karun. My first introduction to this was through a Brewdog cocktail. Brewdog are a fun one to talk about at the minute. Brewdog are a bunch of self-important cunts. Who'd have seen that one coming? Yeah, Karun. They did a bit of a redesign. I like to think of the new Karun bottle as the middle evolution of sort of if gin bottles were Pokemon. This is kind of like the Charmeleon stage, and Charizard stage is going to be fucking full on bells and whistles when they get around to it, I'm sure. Karun. I really like Karun. I'm a big fan of Karun, so I'm going to stick it in A. As a barman, it is an absolute pain in the cunt to do the garnish for this one. The red apple thing. It is a pain in the fucking arse. It's up there with the cucumber garnish. And the problem with the cucumber garnish for Hendrick's is everybody fucking knows about that. Karun, people are getting a fair bit of awareness through that as well. How much a gin relies on weird and wacky garnishes is actually a lot, because I've pissed around with that quite a bit, and you would be alarmed the amount more successful a gin that nobody gives a fuck about becomes when you stick something random in it. I've done hibiscus petals for a gin that wasn't selling and suddenly started flying out the fucking door. And the only difference was I started putting hibiscus petals in it, which look really nice, and also turn it into a pinkish kind of a gin. So that's fun. But yeah, yeah, as garnish game, it's a bit of a nightmare. But as a gin, it's actually really solid. It is quite crisp and refreshing. Juniper definitely comes through. You know, it's not like it's light on the goods. It's a nice, clean juniper gin. Quite dry. I'm not 100% certain what the apple contributes to it. I think it just kind of comes across as like a generic freshness for the gin. But it's fun. It's nice, and I do enjoy it. Let me quickly check to see if I had any more comments come through. Oh, there we go. It's difficult to see. It is difficult to see. Yeah, I did not nail this. As you can probably tell, this is a bit of a rush job. So I'm going to try wherever possible to enunciate what's there. So I do apologise that this is a touch tricky to see. Also, a lot of the corporate photography for gins really fucking difficult to like extract out of the background. A lot of them are overexposed. Like, you can see a lot of them look like ghosts. That is not my tampering. That's just how they've been photographed. It's a little bit worrying how many bad photos of like corporate products are out there. I get that clear glass is difficult to photograph. Yeah, anyway, we're not here for that. Kraken Tail. I've had this grand total of once, and I enjoyed it. I thought this was a good one. I'm not clear on the botanical bill for this one. I mean, juniper's in there, again, obviously, because you have to have juniper in a gin, although some pink gins would disagree, I'm sure. I found this to be a very enjoyable, crisp, refreshing gin. I am light on the details because I've not researched this heavily, not that you can tell, but I enjoyed it. And I'm not going to say any more on that because I'm consciously aware that we have a lot to get through. So I won't fixate on stuff that I don't have too much to say about. Daffy's is a lovely gin. Again, it's a lovely gin. It suffers miserably as an Edinburgh-based gin. It really does have a fucking hard time of it, and it confuses me because it's a great distillate. It's got some good marketing behind it. It's a little bit mentally, which maybe puts people off. I don't know. Plenty of juniper in there, plenty of angelica. It's a good, solid, well-made gin. It suffers because it doesn't have Edinburgh or Leaf or that kind of nonsense plastered all over it. It's a very simple design, and it just gets totally overlooked, and it's a fucking shame. They've tried to break through with like mulberry gins and stuff like that. I worry about this distillery because I don't know. I think they're going to be one of the ones that we lose, just because I've worked in multiple bars and it just does not have the interest in the public. And it's a shit. If it were a shit gin, I wouldn't feel bad. It's not. They really do some fucking good work with this gin. It's a lovely gin. I love the design behind it. I love they've got the kind of like quirky 30s, 40s kind of thing going on with them. It's a lovely distillate. And it is a fucking shame that it doesn't get more attention from people, because it's one of the good ones. Devil's Staircase, not tried it, so we'll move on from that one. This one, bloody hell. Oh, Downpour Gin. Bloody hell, even I can't read this. Not tried it. Moving on. Edinburgh Gin. This is one of those ones that, for all intents and purposes, should be a cash-in gin. It's probably best known for its sweet and sticky liqueurs that have then been ramped up to proper gins in some cases. So you've got things like the rhubarb and ginger liqueur. There's also rhubarb and ginger gin. That kind of nonsense. The liqueurs do really well because middle-aged women just love them in Prosecco because it's nice and sweet and yay. And it's gin, so it's girly. How much of the gin revolution is the fact that it's just been marketed to women and it's been sold as a woman's drink? It's probably a lot, to be honest. It's probably a lot to do with it. You know, the notion of feminine drinks versus masculine drinks is absolute bollocks. We had two lads in the other day and they were drinking Aperol spritzers and they were not a couple. They were just showing the middle finger to toxic masculinity whilst also getting a bit buzzed. And I was fucking here for it. It was great to see. Back to Edinburgh Gin. It's actually a really good one. And this is the reason why this one struggles. Because as Edinburgh-based gins go, you're going to go for Edinburgh Gin or Leaf Gin. Holyrood are making some inroads as well. Yeah. Edinburgh Gin itself, fantastic. Loads of people go to the Edinburgh Gin Distillery Experience, which is just across the road from me. I've had to direct a few people to that. I've never done the Gin Distillery Experience, but I've heard a lot of first-hand accounts from people, and it's basically got fuck all to do with the actual gin. It's just talking about the history of gin, and they don't really have anything to say for themselves. Which, you know, okay. It's a little bit unusual because, again, the gin itself, it's a good one. I'm actually going to skip ahead and do another Edinburgh-based one. We're going to do Pickerings. Again, they're an... I've done it. These guys work hard. I applied for a job with them a few years ago, and I don't even resent the fact I didn't get it because I met the woman that did get it, and fuck me, she knew her shit. So I was just like, do you know what? I was not the right pick for this job. You chose the right person right there. I think she's gone on to, like, I don't know, rule the Middle East or something. I've no idea, but yeah, she's a ridiculously talented and competent woman. And it's nice to see more women getting jobs for being better at men, to be honest, because I would not have felt comfortable had I met her and known that I'd got the job over her, because that would just not have been right at all. Anyway, Pickering's Distillery, it's based in the Royal Dick. Don't laugh. It's an old veterinary college, and they're right next to Barney's Beer, and they produce some fantastic gin, and it is so homespun. I've done the tour a couple of times, and I mean, the distillery is about the size of my flat, and I do not live in a big flat, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen. And up until recently, they've hand-labeled everything on this, like, the balsa wood contraption. Big place in my heart, this distillery. I love everything they put out. I mean, this one's maybe an exception to the rule. Brussels sprout gin, this was a gimmick, you know, there's a bit of fun. You can see how much I've loved this from how much I've whacked into that one. But yeah, they do some good work. They do some fantastic work. I enjoy their gin whenever I have it. I like all the different variations of it. I wish them the best in the world. Also, they've been doing some very good inroads in breaking into, I think, certain Asian markets. So I was trying to do a couple of collaborations with them a couple of years ago, not for this, for my professional life, and they were like, "We're too busy breaking into China." I was like, "Have you tried through the window?" And yeah, they've seen big success. I'm not quite sure how they manage their output, to be honest, because they churn out more bottles than they should, by any right, be capable of producing. They're an absolute workhorse, and they do fantastic work. And I hope they don't. Well, I hope they don't change how they look. With one caveat: the fucking wax on the bottles is an absolute nightmare when it comes to on trade. Now then, I don't know how it works for them. On the off chance they're watching this, if you have separate consignments for on trade versus off trade, I don't know if that's how that works. It might just be you produce it and then it gets allocated, which I would imagine is how it happens. But yeah, maybe not the wax for on trade. Although I think they have finally started putting tabs on them, so you can like. And if that's the case, then please disregard this. Yeah, so Pickering's, that's our first A star. Eden Mill Original. This is the new bottling. They've changed to blue. They originally had kind of like a white earthenware bottle. This is still an earthenware one. Eden Mill really like to fuck with publicans in making it really hard to do stock count. So you have to kind of jiggle it and be like, sounds like about a 0.3. It's a fucking bastard to do stock takes with that one. It's made with sea buckthorn. It's 43%. It's a decent gin. I'd say nothing remarkable, really. I think their sort of themed ones do better, like their Golf, their Oak Age, their Love Gin, which has spawned its own little liqueur range. Yeah, the standard, I don't know. I think some gin distilleries would actually probably be better off just not doing an original, because that's always going to kind of flail a little bit. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the sales of like standard gins for these kind of things are spectacular. I don't have that insight. All I have is insight into like bars and pubs and stuff. And I know when I see that, you know, we've got 6 or 7 standard gins, you're going to sell your Gordons, you're going to sell your Tanqueray, you'll probably sell a bit of Edinburgh gin or whatever your local gin is. So, you know, if you're in Stockport, maybe a Stockport gin, Manchester gin, York gin, you get the idea. And then you'll sell your flavored stuff, because that has a unique selling point. Exceptions to that rule are, again, coming up. Although I'll just do a quick shout out to Linden Lime. That one stands on its own 2 feet, purely because it is a fucking phenomenal gin. Spoiler, do you know what? Let's get that one out of the way, actually, because I think we all know where that's going to go. That is a fucking phenomenal gin, and you should buy some of it. It lushes. It's only the second gin I've come across that does that. It goes cloudy when you add tonic. The first one I came across was Cotswolds. That is also a fucking phenomenal gin. They don't chill filter it, which means they don't strip the oils out. We talk about that a lot when it comes to whiskies. When we talk about it when it comes to gins, you end up with a fucking spectacular gin on your hands. Yeah, you can smell how much more concentrated it is. You know, you can just tell it's a next level one just from like that first introduction. Because I've been training some of the staff where I am at the moment. I was like, hey, give this a quick nose, and they've all gone, fucking hell, that's good. A few of them, when they've been in their free time, have asked for it. It's not the cheapest gin. They're a bunch of students. They still want it. Aware, you know, sometimes just doing a really fucking good one is the best approach. If you're doing gin, chances are you want a quick buck. Proves the point that, you know, if you really want to stand out, just do it better. The fact it's in a fucking sexy bottle also helps. We will be reviewing this. Well, I'll be reviewing it. You'll be watching it in a couple of weeks. Cool. So, where are we up to? Oh, Eden Mill. This fella, Inu. Haven't tried it. House of Elric. Now then, I haven't tried the original. I've tried this, which is the Coconut Old Tom. I'm going to save. I don't think I've included this in the list, have I? No. Cool. I'm going to save this for another list. If I do, indeed, if I do another list. I've done a review of this. It's a little bit tricky to get your hands on, which is a shame. I love this gin. If I had this in the ranking, I'd stick this in A-star. Because I love coconut. I love Old Tom's, and this is a fantastic example of both. Yeah, it's sweeter, but it's also not, you know, like a fucking liqueur with like 9 bags of sugar in it and maybe a juniper berry if you're lucky. It's still a, you know, proper gin, just with tons of coconut flavor. I think they use artificial flavoring, I'm pretty sure, or an oil, you know, so it's not the, you know, coconut infusion is what they say. Sweeter liquid, and I'm pretty sure they use like a sugar syrup or something like that, which is not, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's perfectly expected. Hand-baked botanicals are pink peppercorn, sweet fennel, and rose petals, sweetened with syrup and coconut to provide a perfect base for classic cocktails or to enjoy simply over ice. Delightful gin, this one. I haven't tried the standard Old Tom. I'd just get another bottle of this, to be honest, but I'm a huge fan of coconut, so that's why I put it in A-star, because that one's a personal thing. This one, Esker. Haven't tried it. Moving on. Garden Shed. Haven't tried it. Moving on. Glasgow. This one's a bit of a weird one. There's 2 Glasgow gins. This is the other Glasgow gin. Originally in a clear frosted bottle. They've changed it to a black one. Well, actually it is going there, so that's fine. It's all right. You know what? It's a perfectly good standard gin. I like their serve of a gin and iron brew. It's a bit of fun, you know. They're absolutely going for kind of like, oh, look how Scottish we are, kind of a thing. That was a terrible accent, and I do apologise. And actually, I've actually put that on as a serve because we've got a load of Glasgow gin sort of forced on us, really, if I'm completely honest. And we need to try and get through it. So that's actually selling quite well. People are actually quite liking gin and iron brew, as it turns out. So that might actually be something that sticks around because it's selling pretty well, which I wasn't expecting. The gin itself is actually pretty good, surprisingly. I took one look at the bottle and I was like, oh, fucking hell, here we go. Perfectly good gin. Junipery, a little bit bright, a little bit peppery. You know, it's a perfectly good standard gin. If you were in the market for making a standard gin to then slap a name on, like a regional name, that is, you know, that is actually a good one. It's not got the same care and love and attention as something like an Edinburgh gin or a York gin or even a Stockport gin, but I'm actually a big fan of Stockport gin. I was not expecting to be, but they're actually doing some really fucking good work. But hey, we're not here to shill them, although I am going to get a proper bottle of it at some point, because I actually can't stop thinking about it. That sounds bad, doesn't it? That sounds a bit bad. Glaswegian. Is it yeah, Glaswegian. Beautiful bottle. Fantastic gin as well. Some interesting botanicals in there. I think milk thistle being one of them. It's extremely Scottish. I'd heard good things, and then I tried some in a bar, and I thought it was absolutely delightful. It really stood out as being quite a different, for me, a little bit floral, I thought. Again, taste is subjective, but I thought it was quite a floral flavoured gin. Although it might have been because I had elderflower tonic with it, so that might have helped. You know, so I will be coming back to this at some point. I will be doing a proper review of it at some point because I feel it deserves it. Greenall's. I believe that says Greenall's, is it? Or is it? No. Yeah. It's fine. Perfectly standard gin. It's all right. That's the nicest thing I say about it. It's perfectly fine. You know, it does the job. Gordon's. There is no F here because I don't believe that anything here is an absolute fail. Gordon's probably comes the closest. But it is a bog standard mass market gin for people that don't care. And it sells because it's cheap and alcoholic. 37.5%, made the cheap and fast way, and nobody gives a fuck. It sells by the fucking gallon, you know. People love the stuff, or they love that it's not expensive and it gets them fucked up. I'm not quite sure which. It's a lowest common denominator gin, and it sells really well as a consequence of it. It's a volume product. So next, Granite North. I want to try it. I haven't gotten around to it yet, so that's one to deal with. Now that next we've got the Hendrick's Midsummer Solstice, beautiful purple bottle. I fucking adored this one. I think this one is bloody fantastic. It's so distinct from your standard Hendrick's. It really is not kidding when it says it's infused with floral essences. It is a garden in a bottle. It's absolutely amazing. It's got a little bit of sweetness to it. It's really bright, fruity, floral. It's wonderful. I'm really, really still digging this gin. I still go back to it. I'm surprised I haven't gotten through it yet. I think I'm rationing it more than anything else. But yeah, super enjoying it. Really good. Next is the Luna. Not quite as good, I thought, as the Midsummer Solstice. Still brilliant. It turns out Leslie Gracie really knows what she's doing. This to me was a bit sweet. It reminded me a lot of like sort of like artisanal marshmallows, not like the flumps or anything, but like, you know, like get them in like little squares and they're vanilla flavored and they're covered in powder sugar. Reminded me a lot of that kind of flavor. And I didn't think there was too much else going on with it. It was primarily marshmallow for me. Bit weird. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I was having a weird experience with it. I don't know. I've tried it a couple of other times and that's not really changed. My opinion on it hasn't changed too much. It's a little bit lemony, tiny bit floral, but primarily it's artsy vanilla marshmallow, which is not in itself a bad thing. You know, it's got its own sort of distinct thing going on with it. So I liked it. You know, just not quite as much as the Midsummer. The Orbium, oh, again, it's one of those borderlines. I think I'm going to have to stick it in B. This one's a weird one. I feel like it's having an identity crisis. First of all, I will say the bottle is fucking gorgeous. Blue lotus flower and quinine in this, which means, hello, Mo, which means unless you use, hello, which means unless you use Cushy Doos, you're going double quinine, essentially. What do you want? Really? Tell you what do you think of this, buddy? No? No, he's not a fan. You know, he's more of a whiskey guy, to be fair. I want to put this out, I like it. I'm putting this in order of like, which would I pick first? And it would be the Midsummer first, then the Luna, then this. It's a perfectly good gin. It looks fucking gorgeous. I'm just a little bit confused why it happened. There's wormwood in there as well. So I think they were going down the absinthe route before they decided to do an absinthe, which I don't think they're continuing with, because by the looks of it, it's sold out in places and they're just not making another batch. I think by the looks of it, it just did not fucking sell well. Which is kind of a shame, but I mean, you know, it's also a clear absinthe and it's a bit weak, you know, so they took the two things that people associate with absinthe and fucked them off. Clear absinthes are absolutely a thing. It's just not what most people associate with absinthe, you know. And Hendrick's is one of those brands where it's for people that think they're quite hipstery, but they're not really, you know. It is a mass market gin, kind of disguising itself as a more artsy product than it is. It's a good gin. Don't get me wrong. I mean, clearly it's a good gin. You know, it's ranking very well so far. But yeah, the absinthe move is a bit of a weird one. And I can see why it's maybe not done as well. Although I'm not a marketing guy, they'll have obviously, you know, really tested that before they put it out. But yeah, the reaction in and of itself does not necessarily surprise me. Hendrick's Gin doesn't wow me all that much. It's all right, you know, it's a perfectly good gin. It's different. Cucumber and rose, perfectly lovely. You know, and it's fun. I like the branding behind them. You know, I like all the kind of like quirky Noel Coward, Stephen Fry bullshit going on. And the ginger dude that they get to do a lot of their films is hot as fuck. But the gin itself, it's fine. You know, it's another one of these that's just fine. It's nothing remarkable. It's nothing too spectacular. It's just it's definitely better. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely better than your bog standards. I'm just not convinced that it's that much better. Have we had any more comments through? Not yet. Cool. It's been 40 minutes already. My word. Kings Hill, not tried. Lovely bottle. Just not tried it. Kinrara, not tried. Now then, Kintyre. The Kintyre original I have not tried. The Kintyre Pink, however, I have. This is well worth your attention. Well worth your attention. This is the pink gin that made me stop hating pink gin. Pink gin is, how I describe it, gin for slags. Bit harsh. Tell me I'm wrong. It's artificially coloured, fruity bullshit with a fair bit of sugar, and the gin is beside the point. It's the colour that is the point with that one. This, and since a few others that I come across, is one of the pink gins that I'm really happy with. It's also really good if you're trying to up your game a little bit. If somebody asks for a pink gin, you can charge a fair bit for this, and they'll still be happy with it because it's an artisanal product, you know. And I have used that in bars in the past. Yeah, it's naughty to charge a bit more, but at the same time, I'm trying to run a fucking business, you know. You want a bit of cash in the till sometimes, and this is a great way to do that. It's also a lovely gin. Actual raspberries, actual Scottish oats. I describe it to people as a Cranachan gin. The base distillate itself is obviously clearly of a very good quality as well. And it's 40%. So it's not your, weak pink crap. This is actually a decent gin. Is it 40 or 42? I think it's 40. Downside, it comes in 50 cl bottles. I don't know if they're going to be changing that anytime soon. It'd be nice if they did. But yeah, massive fan of this one. If you're after a pink gin and you want something that's not just fruity bullshit, this is a good one to go for because it's still fruity. It's still got that like tart raspberry tang to it. It's just a bit more grown up, you know. If you're getting past the kind of like blue WKD stage of your life, this could be something worth looking into. Loch Ness, not tried it. Moving on. Lone Wolf, not tried it. Probably not going to now. Lusser, not tried it. Again, I did say there's a fair few that I've not given a go. Maca Cherry. I was expecting better things from this. I was very excited when it was coming out because I'm a big fan of Maca. It is good. It is a cherry gin. Now, when people hear cherry gin, they're probably expecting something that is heavily cherry flavored. They're expecting something close to a liqueur. The cherry flavor in this is pretty subtle, which isn't really what you want from something that you're saying is a cherry gin. The flavor's almost hidden because it's so juniper heavy. The base Maca gin is a super heavy juniper gin. And I'm assuming that that is the base for this gin as well, because the cherry really struggles to come through. I've had it multiple times. I like the gin, but put a gun to my head and ask me if I can taste cherries. Probably going to go with no, to be honest. So that, obviously, is a big turn-off. However, the base gin itself is good enough that it still makes it a good gin, but you might just be there kind of like, yeah, it's nice, but where's the cherry? Right, Maca Mulberry. I'm not doing the oak age because I've not tried it. I fucking love this stuff. It's beautiful. Take the base Maca, which is really peppery and junipery and fresh, and then mellow it for 6 months in a type of wood that isn't normally used for anything. Mulberry wood. You end up with, well, you end up with fresh casks because mulberry wood, you're not really going to use that for much else. So they tend to be quite active. And you end up with fuck tons of vanilla flavoring in a relatively short amount of time. It doesn't take long to mature it to get that super woody, vanilla flavor, and it makes this really excellent, surprisingly mellow, complex gin. This is one of my like top overlooked gins that I think I've come across. I've now stocked this in 3 bars. It's kind of becoming my signature gin. That and the Kintyre, actually. You know, when I'm genuinely wowed by something, I will stock it somewhere because I firmly believe in that, and if I firmly believe in something, I can sell it. I'm a big fan of it. Big fan of it. And it's what kind of got me into cask matured gins, because they're a bit of fun, but they're also good when you do it like this. And it makes sense as well because I know the Glasgow Distillery have put out some whiskies, and we're going to be getting to those in a few weeks, so that's something to look forward to. The Macca Old Tom again comes down here. Lovely. Oddly dry for an Old Tom. It's made with honey, which, I mean, lovely addition. Again, because the base gin is so fucking punchy and juniper heavy, the sweet element struggles. I almost feel like they would be better off doing a separate distill. I don't know, maybe they do. I don't know how they do this, but from my personal experience, I would gather that they make a massive, great big batch of their core and then split it off to do different things. Just because when they do it with like the cherry and the Old Tom, trying to add that either tart or sweet component doesn't quite work. But again, the gin itself is good enough that it helps carry it regardless. But yeah, it does struggle a little bit. By contrast, mellow it out in wood and it works a fucking treat. So yeah, bit of a bizarre one, that one. Their distillate suits some jobs better than others, but I've heard people that have absolutely adored the Old Tom. And do you know what? I still like the Old Tom. I still really like the cherry. I'd still buy it. But there are some shortcomings, I felt. Which gives us the Macca Original, which goes here. The base gin is excellent. I would really, really, really like them. I've thought for a while a good move for them to do would do a full strength gin, like a Navy strength or something like that, and cast, basically have like a ceramic bottle, but make it look like concrete. Because when I think of Glasgow, I think of concrete. And I think it would really hammer home that, like, you know, this is a tough as nails gin. It's good stuff. It's lovely, rich, bright juniper, a little bit herbal, touch lemony, but it's that juniper. It really gives you a proper fucking, it gives you a black eye. You know, if you're a big fan of dry juniper gins, Macca's a great one to go for. And it's actually very affordable compared to a lot of other super juniper heavy gins. I guess overlooked because it's not in an especially sexy bottle. It does look a bit last century, if you get what I mean. You know, it's got like a noughties vibe to it. But the actual content's fantastic. So, you know, pick your battle on that one. McQueen's, the original, I've not actually tried. I've had some encounters with like flavored stuff, like mint chocolate and chocolate orange and chili and stuff like that. Underwhelmed, I think, is how I would characterize those ones. I don't know if they maybe changed since, but yeah, I've not tried the original purely because it's been very forgettable, the gin that I've had off of them. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. NB gin. It's fine. North Berwick gin, to give it its proper name. I hate the branding. I think the branding's fucking hideous. But that doesn't matter too much. It will put people off. You know, it's one of those ones that just does not stand out. But I just don't think the contents of the bottle are particularly good either. There's nothing special about it. Yeah, it's a gin. It's got juniper in it. It tastes like a gin. But that's it. You know? I can't think of a reason why I would pick this over something else. And that's pretty damning, really. The actual distillate itself is fine. you know, which is why it doesn't fall into a D. But I just can't think of a reason why I'd pick it over something else. Now then, Old Curiosity / Secret Garden Gin. These guys have recently changed their names. I've got a bottle of Hot Pink Tulip. It's less hot pink than it used to be. I was lucky enough to get this dropped off about 14 months ago. And because it's a natural product, it's been fading. But it's a lovely pink gin, this one, and it turns very fucking pink if you add tonic. Probably less so now, but yeah, great gin, this one. Old Curiosity have recently changed their name to the Secret Garden Gin because it sounds better. And it makes more sense as well because their actual plot of land that they've got is known as the Secret Garden. But they themselves have called themselves Old Curiosity. So, you know, it was getting a bit confusing, I think, for some people, so they decided just to go with the one name. So, Apothecary Rose. Stunning gin. Gonna have a quick glass of water, actually. I realise I've been talking for a while. Oh. Also, I've had my jab today, and as I'm sitting here, I'm kind of like, my body's feeling a bit weird now, so, well, this could be interesting. The Apothecary Rose is beautiful. It's so rose-flavoured. This is one of those ones that really does not disappoint when it comes to, you know, what you're expecting. If you want a Turkish Delight rose-flavoured gin, this is your boy. It also does something quite wonderful. It's a gold-coloured gin, and it turns this beautiful peony pink when you add tonic. I would say it's the most spectacular of the 3 colour-changing gins that they do, although I think they typically do 4 now. In appearance, it's amazing, but it's also just a really good one. Juniper's a little bit lacking in this one, because the rose flavour dominates it. But you know what? It dominates it in such a good way that I don't care. There are people out there, Blair Bowman, notably, who would say that this is an absolute waste of time because it doesn't taste much of juniper. He's got a point, but I like it. So there we go. I'm a bit more trashier than Blair Bowman. Who'd have fucking thought it? Chamomile and cornflower. It's a little bit too subtle. Juniper comes through a bit better with this one. It's a little bit lemony. It's a bit floral, but honestly, there's just too little going on with it. It's just a bit flat, this gin. Lovely colour. Changed to purple. Hooray. But yeah, it's just a bit... You know? There's not enough happening with it. And lavender and echinacea. Again, it's a little bit flat. There's just not a huge amount going on with it. It's fine. The lavender comes through quite nicely. There are better lavender gins out there. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Secret Garden gins. But again, I'm not doing them any favors if I don't say, you know, how I think about it. These two, the chamomile, the lavender and echinacea, perfectly good ones. The Apothecary Rose just kind of like, you know, knocked my socks off by comparison. And if I had put Hot Pink Tulip on here, that would also probably be an A or an A star. It's difficult to tell with that one. Orkney. I've had their Johnsmus gin, and that one was not there. Lovely. Nice and junipery, a little bit sweet, a little bit of lemon, a little bit herbal, a little bit spicy. There's plenty going on with it. It did not knock my socks off, but I enjoyed it. I fully enjoyed it. Pilgrims is one that I've been meaning to get around to, and I haven't yet. Their liqueurs fascinate me. There are some truly out there flavors for the liqueurs. I haven't tried any of them yet. It's one of those ones I want to get around to at some point. I just haven't yet. Porters. Their Tropical Old Tom is delightful. Bit of a story here. I recently, somebody put up on Facebook Marketplace a bottle of that going for 20 quid because they'd won it at a raffle. They were pregnant, they couldn't drink it, and they just wanted to, you know, make a quick buck off of it. And I missed out on it because I was working too much. So I had to keep kind of like cancelling So I think I had to cancel them twice. And I explained what was going on. I was like, I'm really apologetic. If you want to sell this to somebody else, I completely understand. And she said, I will wait more time, but you're wasting my time. I was like, there's no need to be that snappy with me. I was fully aware that I was wasting her time, you know. It wasn't intentional. It was just I was working like 80 hours that week. I could not fucking get out. The day I was supposed to be meeting her, I ended up getting called back because we had to get an emergency gas fix. You know, I couldn't do the meet. And she ended up selling it to somebody else. So, you know, it worked out for her. I do feel bad that I was screwing around a little bit. But that whole thing was just a case of fucking bad timing, you know. It's a shame that I missed it. I don't like that she got a bit snippy with me, but hey, I also get it at the same time because I mean I'd probably be pretty pissed off as well if somebody kept cancelling with me. So, but that was my story. The Porter's Original, again, a really nice gin, Aberdeen based, by a bunch of cocktail wankers. You know the types. You know they're actually probably lovely people, but at the same time, you know. Ego and talent, you know, they're a toxic combination in some cases. Uses an unusual botanical called Buddha's Hand. It's like if a lemon got really weird cancer. Go look up a Buddha's Hand, you'll see what I mean. It's a fucking freaky citrus. But it makes a good gin. It uses a cold distillation process. And it's really nice. It was made in a bar. And it was made for bartenders. Goes really well with cocktails, goes really well on its own. I really need to get my hands on a bottle at some point because I've only ever had it in bars. I've never actually owned a bottle. But I have so much gin at the minute that I can't justify just buying more of it, you know? Seven Crofts. Haven't tried it, haven't had much interest in trying it, really. So there we go. But one I have had some interest in, South Lock. This is another Edinburgh gin. It's made at 57 degrees north, I think is the name of the gin bar. Just by Crichton Place, I think. These are delightful. They make them in a tiny little still in the bar, is my understanding. The citrus flower is fantastic. Wonderful, bright, lemony, lime, citrusy kind of gin. Plenty of juniper in there. Lots of citrus components. A little bit floral, really well made, good gin. The Raspberry Old Tom, likewise delightful. A little bit sweet, fairly tart. It's a clear distillate, so none of this, like, you know, they could have easily, you know, just added a bit of raspberry juice afterwards to give it like a bit of a pink hue. They'd probably have had an easier time selling it if they'd done that, because like, hey, it's a pink gin. They didn't do that. They decided to go with, you know, something a bit more grown up. It's a lovely gin. I'd strongly recommend, if you're going to get some, I'd actually go with the Raspberry Old Tom, personally. But that one really rings my bell. But if you're more of a citrus gin kind of a person, the citrus flower is good. They have released some other ones. I haven't tried them, so I won't speak for them. It crushes me a little bit how poorly these sell. When I've worked with them in bars, they don't sell well because nobody really knows what they are. And that's, again, one of those things of just like, you know, marketing is everything, which is a shame because, you know, there's just not that many adventurous people out there. Yeah, I'd totally give those two a go at some point. I'm actually meaning to get my hands on a Raspberry Old Tom at some point. But again, I've got so many fucking gins, it's difficult to justify. I check in comments. 0. Okay, cool. Oh, I've got 4 people joining us now. We're just about to hit the hour mark. So that's exciting. Cool. Next is Sterling Gin. If memory serves, they use basil as one of their distillate components. And it's another stunning little gin. The basil, it comes through as like this kind of peppery, citrusy, floral kind of a flavor. It doesn't taste like pesto. Which, would pesto gin work? That would probably fucking really work. Actually, somebody should get on that. Always fun to use in a gin basil smash. But yeah, a lovely, crisp, junipery, fruity, floral, a little bit spicy gin. and they rebranded recently, and it's looking pretty sexy. Strathern, haven't tried it. Tanqueray, have tried it. It's a really good gin. It is. Tanqueray's a good gin. I don't make the rules on this. Peppery, super junipery. I always think, whenever I drink this, I always think of Christmas trees. It's got that lovely fresh pine needle kind of a essence about it. It's quite oily, it's lemony, peppery. It's just a class act gin. And the fact that, you know, you can pick it up for relatively little money, and it comes in a lovely bottle, and they do variations and stuff like that, you know, they do some good work. They are owned, well, they're made by the same people that make Gordon's Gin. So, you know, that's catching your multiple markets right there. You make the shitty stuff and you make the better stuff, and you offer them both at an attractive price point, and you watch them fly off the shelves. Teasmith. I did a gin training a few years ago, back when I was at the Cafe Royal, and I was asked to do the gin program for that because I knew my gins. So I did. So I got a few Scottish basics in, and I wanted everything to have a unique selling point. I wanted everything to have a clear identity to it. And the Teasmith was one where I was like, right, I need another Scottish basic, and it was made with tea, and I was like, right, I'll get that in. We'll see how it does. Wasn't expecting great things from it. Then we did the tasting, and we went through all the things that like I was expecting to be amazing, and we all tried them. We're like, yeah, that's really nice, that's really nice. And then we got around to this one. I didn't have the highest hopes for it, and I was like, look, hey, this is one that, you know, I don't expect great things from, but we're going to give it a go. And it blew our fucking minds. It was like the runaway winner of the day by like not even fucking close, you know? It's like the second one was here. Teasmith was like over here somewhere. It absolutely knocked everything else out of the water. I was honestly pretty floored with how well that, just how good it was. It was fucking delightful. It managed to strike a truly incredible balance between juniper and citrus and spice and this slightly tannic quality, which we could only associate with the tea in there. It was a little bit subtle, a little bit floral, but it was just delightful. And none of us could quite put our finger on why it was a universal kind of like, that's amazing, I want more of that. And we saw plenty of it because everyone was just like, you should give this a go. And we just started churning out the bottles. I think it was one of those cases of none of us have tried it, and you don't know until you try it. Teasmith's fantastic. You should buy some. They also did the Brodeer estate, I think it was, using tea that was grown in Scotland. Haven't tried that. I would imagine it's fucking spectacular. If, you know, this is their core release, I can imagine, like, you know, the special edition stuff was, you know, next level. But I can't speak for it because I haven't tried it, and I don't think you can get your hands on it anymore. Or if it is out there, it's in super limited quantities. Yeah, amazing gin. You should get some. Tobermory. It's lovely. I like Tobermory whiskey. I love Lechaig. I love Lechaig. This one's a bit of a weird one. It uses a bit of new make in it. It's not made with a new make. It would be really interesting, actually, to have whiskey new make and then turn it into a gin. But they've not done that. They've added a bit of new make into a grain neutral. And I don't think they've used much because, you know, why would you waste it on a gin? Quite floral, lemony, fair bit of juniper. It's a lovely, crisp, clean gin. Worth your attention. I have historically, this is the one I said with hibiscus, to try and get its numbers up a bit. Worked a treat. I don't think that was a reflection on the gin itself, although people did comment that they really enjoyed it. But it was one of those ones that needed a bit of help to get it going forward. Right, and what have we got next? Tiree gin. Haven't tried it. and Verdant. Also haven't tried it. And that's us. That was me ranking Scottish gins. Are there any that I missed out? Are there any that you'd like to hear my opinions on? Are there any that you now want to try based off of the back of this? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching this, guys, for this impromptu live. It's been well over an hour now, so I'm going to go and get some food and some water. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching.